Do you have a vision of what you want to manifest in your life? The Pisces full moon shines the light on how you break down your vision into daily tasks and if they're taking you towards your vision, or are they taking you on a long and windy route of distractions? Learn about the upcoming full moon and work with the many planets in retrograde. Hi, I'm Lori Barnes, the astrologer who helps people find their true calling and take action towards manifesting it. Do you dream about your future? I mean, like really see what you want to manifest? Beyond some unattainable wishful thinking, but a reasonable and challenging vision or goal of what you want to accomplish in your lifetime. This full moon is about your strategy for manifesting your vision. It's about having the dream, writing your goals, and then paying attention to the daily details and tasks that you're doing. Like what do you do on a daily basis? Because it will accrue over your lifetime. And you want to think about, like, what is it that you want to grow? Is it your family, building a home, starting your own business, climbing the corporate ladder, fostering or sheltering animals, or a combination of these things? We all have different levels of energy, resources, support, and goals. So today is about focusing on how you integrate and balance your overall and most important vision of what you want to accomplish in life with your day-to-day grind, right? What you do on a daily basis. So you may have a few different visions, like one for your family, one for your relationship, one for your career, or you just may have one big overarching thing that stands out as what is most important for you. It's totally up to you. What I hope is that this video helps you question if you're on track and can help you discover if some realignment is needed. You may find that you need to correct course and get back on the direct route to your vision. You may find that you're so deep in daily details that you've lost track of what it is that you set out to do in the first place. So our full moon configuration is set up to help us figure that out. We have Saturn retrograde and the full moon in Pisces. And then on the opposite side of the zodiac, we have the sun and Mercury retrograde in the sign of Virgo. I want to share the dates and times with you for when the moon is going to grow to its fullest, to be the full moon. I mean, you can already see that in the sky right now. The moon is growing, and it's going to be full on Wednesday or Thursday, depending on where you live. That'll be August 30th or the 31st. And if you're on the west coast of the US, it'll be 6:36 p.m. in the evening. And if you're on the east coast of the US, it'll be 9:36 p.m. in the evening. And then if you're here in Rome, Italy, where I am, it'll be 3:36 a.m. in the morning, Thursday morning on the 31st. And the full moon is in the sign of Pisces, and that will be at 7 degrees. So if you have your chart, and I hope that you do, you want to look at where the sign Pisces is in your chart. And if you have anything at 7 degrees, you're going to have that part of your chart really activated by this full moon. Full moons are about releasing. It represents like a culmination or an ending of something or compromise. It's like how to balance or integrate the parts of your chart that the sun and moon are traveling through by looking at, their signs, in this case, Pisces and Virgo. So there's like an awareness between these two sides or these 2 points of view and having to make a choice or an integration. Full moons are bursting with energy because the moon is taking in the full amount of light from the sun. And this particular full moon is actually a blue moon or a super blue moon, which means that the moon is closer to Earth. So that makes it appear like it's larger than usual. And the blue moon is, it's a blue moon because we get an extra lunation in the cycle. And no, the moon will not actually be blue, but it's going to be big and beautiful. According to timeanddate.com, the last time we had a super blue moon was in December of 2009, and we won't have another one until August of 2032. So it is somewhat rare, and if you can get out there and take a look at it, please do. It should be beautiful. And you might be wondering, well, what is a blue moon? Well, the definition, well, there's more than one definition. There's two. So the first is the seasonal blue moon, where we have 4 full moons in a season instead of 3. And then the other is a monthly blue moon where we have 2 full moons in 1 month, like this one. So the full moon is in Pisces. Pisces is about connection with others and finding unity. Pisces is known to be creative, adaptable, and service oriented. It's the sign most associated with we, like we are all one, or, there's no you or me, there's just we, there's no I in team, very Pisces. And if you have a strong presence of planets or sensitive points in your chart in the sign of Pisces, you're really going to resonate with this concept of we and merging together with another. And you're really going to feel this full moon. It's really active in your chart. Pisces is a water sign that is highly adaptable. It can change its form to fit whatever environment that it's in. And that's why Pisces has to be really careful that you're not always morphing and to fit into what you think others want, or to be, what you think that others need in order to fit in. Pisces has to find its own structure and mold. That's a challenge. This is where Virgo can come in and help. Virgo breaks things down into pieces, into steps and tasks. It comes up with structured planning and strategy. It's an adaptable earth sign that's under the rulership of Mercury. Mercury is practical, pragmatic, and analytical. So we have the full moon in the sign of Pisces and the sun in the sign of Virgo, because a full moon always means that we have 2 pairs of signs that are opposite each other. So here we have Virgo. It has like practicality and mental agility. Virgo can really benefit from the big unified vision that Pisces represents, while Virgo breaks down the vision down into practical steps to achieve it, and that helps Pisces, right? So that's how those two work together. Virgo doesn't get caught up in being a chameleon, but it can get lost in the details and lose track of the bigger vision. Pisces can get lost in the dream world, seeing the magnificent possibility of the vision, but then can have trouble executing the daily grind that's needed to get there. We all need to find that balance, and that is what this full moon is all about, this Pisces full moon. This can be a time when your dreams bring you some messages from the Piscean world of archetypes and the collective unconscious, while the Virgo sun is beaming down the energetic vibe that helps us bring order out of the chaos, to use discernment to become more efficient, to have an eye for details, and to use a pragmatic approach to realigning and redesigning your course. And this is supported by Mercury, which is in retrograde and is the ruler of the sun, because the sun is traveling through Mercury's sign of Virgo. And with Mercury in its retrograde cycle, it's saying, slow down, reflect, figure out where you may need to adjust your course of action. And on the Pisces side, where the full moon is, we have Saturn. Saturn is also traveling through the sign of Pisces, where the full moon is. And Saturn and Pisces can have kind of like this contradictory message, right? Saturn is the planet of structure and discipline and boundaries, building something with hard effort. It's hardly Pisces-like, but Saturn has to do its energy in a Pisces way because it's traveling through that sign. Pisces is, like it has an allergy to structure and boundaries. But if we zoom out and kind of think about this, it's quite lovely. Here we have Saturn holding the boundaries for our vision, our Pisces vision. We have Saturn telling us, remember your vision, and asks you like some questions for you. Are you lost in the details? Are you heading towards your true calling, your life purpose, your overall vision? Or are you doing a great job with detailed work, but spinning your wheels at the same time? Because if you're doing all this work and your hard effort isn't paying off, if it isn't producing a return for you, it's time to get off that treadmill and onto a more direct route. And Saturn can bring this. Saturn can bring a somber mood and some realism to the dreamy and visionary Pisces and this full moon, but that's probably a good thing. Saturn can help with a reminder that strategy, structure, and discipline are all important to achieving your vision. And, that's going to really make Mercury and Sun in Virgo happy and able to work well with across the way. The Mercury Sun together in Virgo, working with the moon and Saturn in Pisces. And Saturn is saying that you must stay focused on your long-term goal, your bigger vision, that Pisces vision. Your strategies, your level of efficiency and attention to detail can actually set you off course if you're so focused on the small details rather than the big picture. And then we have Mercury in retrograde in Virgo asking you to take a reflective and an introspective look at your daily grind, your task list. And, are these things filling up your days, but, taking you towards your life purpose or not? Are the things that you do taking you towards your vision and towards life fulfillment? You're in a time period, we're all in a time period where the integration of the Virgo and the Pisces side of things isn't only possible, but actionable. So if you're pushing hard to keep moving forward as is, you're likely going to be highly frustrated this last half of August and first part of September, because this is a time to really slow down and take stock, reflect back, and see how well you're doing. Where do you fall on either side? And you can be balanced. So, if you look at what's going on and you're like, I feel like I do have my eye on the long-term vision, and what I'm doing day to day is definitely taking me towards that, then thumbs up to you. So give yourself credit if that's you. But if it's not, if you find that you're too much in the details or you're too much in dreamland, seeing this vision, but not actually taking steps day to day, then this is the time period to slow down, focus, figure out what needs to be realigned, redesigned. You want to give yourself time to take part in this amazing opportunity that we have to do this reflective and introspective work that retrogrades offer. So working with these retrograde and lunar cycles together may ask you to step away from what you think you should be doing right now, and rather just take this broad view of where have you been, what are you doing right now, and where do you want to go. Take this time period, the remainder of August and early September, to focus on balancing your overall life vision and your big time or long-term goals with your day-to-day grind. What are you doing every day? What details are you working on? And, the question is, are you too focused on your overall vision, but not actually doing the daily work to help achieve that vision? Or are you so focused on details that you've lost track of the overall vision? You'll have until September 15th to work on the messages from Mercury retrograde. That's when it goes direct. And then you can use the post-shadow period of Mercury retrograde that goes until September 30th to start implementing some of those ideas in realignments and redesigns that you identified during the retrograde, actually take action. Please, please always remember to be gentle on yourself. Only compare yourself to yourself. Nobody else is walking in your shoes. So you can't look at somebody else and say, oh, I should be where they are. You are exactly where you need to be. And you have the opportunity to let astrology help you get focus on the most direct course to your life vision, to what you want to achieve. Okay, so I hope that helps. I want to mention a couple of other things that are happening as part of the full moon in Pisces. One of them is Jupiter. So it's one of the two planets not retrograde at this time, Mars being the other. And Jupiter is making like an easy flowing trine aspect to the Sun and Mercury in Virgo. And Jupiter in the sign of Taurus is also making a sextile, which is an active and opportunity-oriented configuration. And that connection is going to the moon and Saturn in Pisces. So Jupiter is really active. Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces. And so, it's directly connected to the full moon by rulership. So, this means that there's opportunity to learn during this time, especially with both Venus and Mercury retrograde at the same time. It's kind of like you're reflecting and you're learning. And both Venus and Mercury are going to be retrograde at the same time until September the 3rd, when Venus goes direct. So you might find it easier to come up with ideas, strategies to firm up your daily routine. There may be some extra luck and opportunity to enhance your strategy and to figure out what unnecessary activities are happening so you can move those out and move the more important ones in. Jupiter is a planet that's known to represent growth areas, so it can really help you see more clearly where you're overdoing things that are less helpful, and then come up with those new strategies to maximize your time. It'll make it easier for you to reflect on your values, your belief system, help you figure out what's most important and where you want your focus to be. So even though Jupiter, along with Mars, is direct, it is going to go retrograde on September 4th, the day after Venus goes direct. So interesting timing. And so that means that the speed of Jupiter is already slowing down as I'm recording this video, because it's getting ready to change direction and go retrograde. This contributes to a more reflective and introspective full moon in Pisces, which is already pretty reflective and introspective, right? We want to remember to work with the Venus retrograde, which is in Leo, as it's coming to its end. I've talked about this in previous videos. Venus is about our relating style and what we desire and value in life. It's in the sign of Leo. And so this highlights how we desire to express ourselves, to be true to our nature, our values, how it impacts others, because Venus is the planet that's about relating. Also, we want to be aware of any shadow work that is needed with the Venus retrograde, like tendencies towards vanity and, needing to be in the spotlight, having an overactive ego. You look to the Leo house of your chart and you'll understand better where this Venus retrograde energy is most active. And you want to spend the next few days or the week after the full moon just on reflecting on your personal self-expression with others. And are you getting your needs met in a relationship? Do you feel free to be who you really are? Or do you put up a facade in order to fit in? Venus retrograde period is really helpful for resolving old unfinished business. And so, take stock of where you may need to do some realigning in relationship with others or with yourself. So take the time after September 3rd, when Venus goes direct, to implement some of the changes that you've discovered during this retrograde period. Put those discoveries into action, put those resolutions into action during this post-shadow Venus retrograde period that goes from September the 3rd until October the 7th. And remember that between now and September the 3rd, that it's time that you can work with both Venus and Mercury retrograde at the same time. The last thing that I wanted to mention is that the three outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, are all retrograde too. There's like this retrograde theme going on. And these retrograde cycles with the outer planets, or the slow moving planets, they're more subtle, they're more long-term when it comes to describing how these energies manifest. So when you're working with these retrogrades, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, you look to the house they're traveling through in your chart for more information. And more importantly, if they're making a relationship with one of your natal personal planets. That's the sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, or Saturn. And if you're looking for the sign, if you're looking at your chart and you're like, where are they? So we have Pluto is in Capricorn, retrograde in Capricorn. Neptune is retrograde in Pisces. So we've talked a lot about Pisces today. Now we're saying Neptune is there as well. And Uranus is in Taurus. So you can look to those three houses, and you can just be aware that with these three really slow moving planets in those houses, that there's long-term subtle changes. And because of their retrograde motion, they stay in those parts of your chart for a really long time. And that's why the manifestation is more subtle and long-term. But the point of that I'm making is that there's this retrograde statement when we see so many planets retrograde at the same time. So just like when there's periods of time when all the planets are direct, when time is moving more quickly, right now we have this time period where most of the planets are retrograde, and that indicates a period of time that's more reflective, introspective. There's more delays and slowdowns. That just means the quality of time is slower. And do know that the sun and moon never go retrograde, but all the other planets do. In case you need them, I wanted to give you a quick recap on the dates for the Mercury and Venus retrogrades. So for Mercury, The pre-shadow period started August the 3rd. Mercury went retrograde August the 23rd. It goes direct September 15th. And the post-retrograde period, or the post-shadow period, ends on September the 30th. For the Venus retrograde, the pre-shadow period started on June the 20th. Venus went retrograde on July 22nd. It goes direct on September the 3rd. And the end of the post-shadow period will be October the 7th. All right, let's wrap up with an inspirational quote that is from Joel A. Barker, and it's about having vision for where you're going in life. He says, "Vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision just passes the time. And vision with action can change the world." And that really sums up the theme of the Pisces full moon quite well. I do have one more for you from Alvin Toffler, and this is to inspire you to do the step-by-step Virgo details that lead to achieving the Pisces overall vision. Alvin says, "You've got to think about big things while you're doing small things so that all the small things go in the right direction." If you want to receive this information that I've shared to you today delivered to your inbox, please subscribe to my email newsletter. I'll include the link below. I have a written blog for the full moon, so if you prefer to get the text to read it, I will share that with you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll be back with another video for you mid-September for the Virgo new moon that is coming up on either Thursday or Friday, depending on where you live, the 14th or 15th of September. And this happens to coincide with Mercury going direct on September 15th. Okay, if you have any questions or thoughts, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. And please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to my channel. If you would like to book an astrology consultation with me, you can reach me at my website, loribarnesastrology.com, or you can email me at hello@loribarnesastrology.com. Thank you so much. See you next time. Ciao.